Okay. So last class we talked about adaptation, variety of organism and adaptation, and we talked about how organisms adapt to challenges in the environment. I gave you a short definition of adaptation. According to modern biology, I said it is a process of processing a spatial, structural, and functional behavioral features by organisms that enable them to survive and reproduce successfully in the environment. We can see the definition in the dashboard. And I give you three types of adaptation. Looking at the definition, I said they possess spatial, structural, functional, or behavioral features. So the three major types of adaptation is structural adaptation, functional adaptation, and behavioral adaptation. Structural adaptation, functional adaptation, and behavioral adaptation. I said another name for structural adaptation is morphological adaptation. So you see some textbook or some question, they may not list structural. They may actually say morphological. So structural and morphological adaptation, they are the same thing. And some textbook will not say functional adaptation, they will say physiological adaptation. It is also the same thing. So we have structural adaptation, we have structural adaptation, we have functional adaptation, and we have behavioral adaptation. Behavioral adaptation. So I said this structural adaptation, they can call it morphological adaptation. And they can call this functional adaptation physiological. They call it physiological adaptation. I can call this behavior adaptation just behavior adaptation. And I remember carefully that I taught you different examples of structural adaptation. And the thing I first said is anytime you see the word structural adaptations, it only involves physical features of organism. It only involves physical features of an organism. Any features that you cannot see with your eye, it is not an example of structural adaptation. It only involves what? Physical features of an organism. And I gave you example. I talked about how organisms adapt in obtaining food. That was the first example I gave on that structural adaptation. Adaptation for obtaining food. Adaptation for obtaining food. Adaptation for obtaining food. So if you look at some animals, you will see that they have different shape in their mouth. Their mouth has different shape. For example, if you look at the hawk, a hawk is a kind of bird that are carnivorous. That is, they feed on flesh. So they have this sharp curved beak, which helps them to tear flesh. They get it now. So it is the structure of their mouth, something like this. The structure of their mouth that enable them to be able to tear the flesh easily. If you look at the dog also, they have a broad flat beak, and that is what they use in filtering food. And if you look at mosquito, they have this piercing mouth part, this piercing mouthpiece, which helps them to suck blood also. So all these, they are morphological adaptation, they are structural adaptation. They are features you can see physically. You can see the mouth shape, you can see the feather shape and all. And the other one I give you is adaptation for protection and defense. So adaptation, trying to look for eraser. I don't know why it's not. Okay, let's just continue. So under structural adaptation, this is the first one I gave you, adaptation for obtaining food. The second one I gave is adaptation for protection. Adaptation for protection or defense. Let me just quickly summarize all these things so that we can move into today's topic. For the adaptation for protection and defense, there are some kinds of animal that they have all these some of them they like what's it animal that can camouflage. They can change their color. We have these mimicking insects. They can change their color, and chameleon also. They can change their color to the color of the leaf or the color of the plant leaf. So once they change their color like that, they use it to protect themselves from prey, from predators. So it will enable them not to be famished. And there's some animals that has this kind of, let me try and look for a diagram. They have all these foul look. So you looking at them, you will look like it like, oh, these things, they are very harmful. Look at this diagram here. Look at this animal. Look at it. It looks as if it is untouchable. Look at all this. Look at the structure. They get it. Look at the structure. It looks as if you touch it, you will wound yourself. So it is just like an adaptation mechanism that the animal used to survive. So when you look at it, look at, oh, I cannot touch this one. No, it looks dangerous. So that is just his own way from protecting himself and making sure that he is not actually being a prey to the predator. So those are the things we check under the structural. We check for adaptation for obtaining food. We check adaptation for defense. I gave you sticking insects, which helps them to camouflage, and also adaptation for conserving water. I gave you that one. That was when I was explaining donkey, camel to you, that they have this orange back, very top, that helps them to conserve water. And I also gave you cactus. No, cactus has spines instead of leaves, which help them to reduce water loss. So I also give you an example of mammals. No, we have ears, we have uh, hairy skin in order to conserve or reduce evaporation. Also, the fourth one I gave is adaptation for regulating body temperature. So it is just a way through which you can regulate your body temperature, like birds has feathers, humans we can sweat in order to regulate body. All these things, they are just structural adaptation mechanism. So the second one is functional adaptation. And these are the things that you cannot see with your eyes. They are internal body processes. For example, production of enzymes. It's an example of functional or physiological adaptation. Ability of a animal or an organism to produce thick mucus. For example, fish can produce thick mucus in order to reduce friction. All these, they are example of functional physiology adaptation. Or even snakes, they can produce poison in order to attack uh, predators or to attack uh, for preying other organisms also. So the last one is behavior adaptation. So this one talks about how organisms behave, how organisms act in order to survive. So that was when I was explaining social social animal For those that are not here, I was explaining animals. I was using termites, the caste system, the life cycle of termites. Let me just give you the diagram as an example. And I was telling you how everybody has their own responsibility in the termite kingdom. The king will fertilize the egg in the queen. They will do all this internal fertilization. They will fertilize the egg in the, the queen will lay the egg, but the egg is not, she's not laying the egg internally, externally. The egg is still internally. So the queen is responsible for the reproduction. The workers there, what they do is that they helps to build the nest, they helps in feeding, they helps in protection. Uh, while the soldier, they actually act as a defense for the whole colony. That is what the soldier does. So that is a behavioral adaptation, a behavior adaptation. Another other behavior adaptation we have is in lizard. You can see when lizard want to raise his body temperature, he will be basking. Lizard will be basking. Even toad, lizard, toad, snails. There's something called hibernation. It's a surviving mechanism that organisms use to survive in cold. All together. All these notes, this you will see it in the last video. I'm just trying to make a recap because of the time. So snails also survive in heat. This is a process we call aestivation, when snails try to survive in the heat. So let's quickly move to what we have for today. I believe you have a little idea on uh, adaptation, confidence, and pop. So let's move to adaptive coloration. Adaptive coloration. So I want you to take this note. What do we mean by adaptive coloration? Adaptive coloration, well, let me type it for you, is the possession of body colors which help organisms to survive in their environment. Adaptive coloration is, hope you guys can hear me. Okay. Confidence, what about you? So you can write that note down. Adaptive coloration is a possession of body colors which help the organisms to survive in the environment. We actually have different types of adaptive coloration. Let me show you some diagram before I give you notes, because I really like diagrams. By diagrams, you will understand. If you look at birds, bird has this counter shading. Please, are you done with this note? Are you done with the note before I take it on? All right. So look at it. This is an example of adaptive coloration. You can see that bird has this two level of shading. They are dark on the dorsal side, and on the ventral side, they are light. So that is how uh, bird adapts by coloration to the environment. So they have this nifty water camouflage. You can see it. It looks floating. From above, look at how they look like. From below, look at how they look like. So it is just an adaptation, an adaptive mechanisms that they use to survive. Let me show you another diagram from another organism. This one is just camouflage. This is not counter shading. I will give you, look at this camouflage. This is not counter shading. I will give you, look at this camouflage. This is not counter shading. I will give you, look at this camouflage. This is not counter shading. I will give you, look at this camouflage. This is not counter shading. I will give you, look at this camouflage. This is not counter shading. I will give you, Look at this camouflage. Can you see? Look at how this chameleon, look at how it takes the color of the leaf. That is adaptive coloration. You can see it has this ability to blend with the environment. Some example is the what's it called? The sticking insect, chameleon. Please, are we together? They can blend with the environment. So these are examples of adaptive coloration. So let me give you examples in case they hack you. They can hack you. All of these are examples of adaptive coloration, except they hack you. All of these are examples of adaptive coloration. So the examples A is camouflage. What did I call it? Camouflage. I believe you understand what camouflage means already. Camouflage simply means organism blending with the environment. Organism blends with environment. So I give you example. One of the example is stick insect, right? Chameleon. Stick insect. Chameleon and the rest. They can blend with the environment. So if care is not taken, you'll not be able to see them. Please, are we together? You would have missed them. You won't know that there's an existing organism in your other organism will not be able to know. You know, even we men, we human beings, we have higher thinking rates. We are more intelligent. So for a chameleon should have deceived a human being. So imagine how many organisms a chameleon would have successfully deceived. They get my point. So that is just their own way of deceiving other fellow organisms. They try to blend with the environment. So the first example of adaptive coloration is what? Camouflage. Confidence. What is the first example of? I give you three examples of three types of adaptation. What's the first one? The first example of the first type of adaptation is structural adaptation. The second one is functional adaptation, while the third one is behavioral adaptation. So I'm talking about adaptive coloration. Adaptive coloration is just a way in which organisms try to adapt by changing their color variation to the challenges in the environment. And I said there are three things you need to take notes in adaptive coloration. The first example is camouflage. Camouflage simply means organism blending with the environment. For example, chameleon, sticky insect. They can blend with the environment. There's a snake we call, what's the name of this snake? That has the color of the ground, a brown skin snake like that. So that's an example of but that one is not actually changing its color. That is a natural color. And there's this snake that's also green. It is very green with the plant color and the leaf color. You will know that there is snake there and all. So camouflage is the first example of adaptive coloration in case they ask you. The second one is counter shading. Can you please write it? Counter shading. That is the fish. You know the counter shading. Counter shading. Let me show you the diagram. Look at the counter shading diagram that I showed you. They will have dark upper surface. Look at the dorsal side of the fish. It is dark, isn't it? Look at the ventral side, the lower side. It has light on that side. So this thing is very common to toads. Even snakes, they have this counter shading behavior. So counter shading, anytime you hear the word counter shading, simply means opposite level of shade. One place is dark, the other place is light. Is that taking place? So you can quickly write that down also. Counter shading. So counter shading There are organisms that has two light regions. There are organisms that has two light regions. So they can have dark upper surface, dark upper surface, light underside, light below or underside. Example is fish, right? Isn't it? You can also see it in toads. They can ask you that snakes or which of the organism exhibits counter shading, and they put fish, they put other animals there. So if you understand that it is fish, toads, snakes that actually exhibit counter shading. The last one under adaptive coloration is the warning coloration. The warning coloration. The warning coloration. So these are the animals that has these bright colors to warn predators. They have bright color. They are mushrooms. Do you know mushroom here? Mushrooms, you can eat mushroom, but when a mushroom becomes very poisonous, it will have this very bright color. Please don't plug it. It is telling you, it is warning you. What did I call it? Warning coloration. It is warning you that I am poisonous already, but it will look attractive. Let me try and look for a diagram online. It will look attractive actually. So it will look pleasing, but don't fall for the trick. It is a way of warning you that that thing is already poisonous. So under warning coloration, it has a bright colors that helps to warn predator. Just like bright colors. Bright colors warn predators. So I've given an example, which is mushroom, maybe. So let me look for, give me just 1 minute. Let me look for a diagram on the mushroom that has a bright color that I can explain that. I believe you understand these three examples of adaptive coloration already. So confidence, what about it? Okay, go ahead. Okay, I've seen a diagram. That's so look at it. Look at this. Looks very bright, right? And it looks very cool. I don't know if confidence like if she see this and feel like, oh my god, look at it, so beautiful. But don't fall for the trick. It's actually telling you that the the mushroom is already poisonous. So it is a bright um warning coloration that tells you this should not be considered as a good food again. So we are done with adaptive coloration. If they ask you example, please and please, they can ask you. We take past questions on that after the class. They ask you questions on adaptive coloration, either on the camouflaging, counter shading, warning coloration. I believe by now you should be able to say it to answer any question. So the next topic we will check is adaptation for securing mate. Adaptation is another topic on this. For what? For securing mate. This is very common to uh, chickens, uh, lizard. So there's a way they use star to secure mates. Let me look for a diagram so that you can see. If you ever see hen, have you ever seen hen or chicken? Or fowl? Oh, when they want to mate, they first of all dance. They will dance around the other female hen. Hmm? Have you ever experienced that before? Confidence. Have you ever seen hen meeting each other before? They first all dance. Look at this diagram here. Look at the lizard. The gamma lizard. Let me show look for diagram for hen. Okay, I see something on peacock. Look at it. It will blow the feather to be very fine, and it will be landing as if you want to fall. Listen. We call it courtship dance. To do a kind of courtship dance. So to be floating and all. So that's that for the adaptation for mating. So we have the first one here is the male agama lizard. You can see it has a bright red head. That's the adaptation. So anytime you see an agama lizard with a bright red, they are the male agama lizard. So the techniques is use a very bright red head for mating, and the birds use courtship dances. Sometimes they will call, they call it songs. They began to sing for each other, and they began to mate. I don't know. So that's how they are able to meet. Let me see if we have another thing. Okay, there's a question that they said you should differentiate between camouflage and warning coloration. Who will help us with that? Confidence. Are you there? What's the difference between camouflage and warning coloration? Are you there? Let me look for past. Yes. Do you have any idea? Let me go past questions. What we just you can't talk of it. Okay. So Paul, can you help us out?
For camouflage, they tend to blend with their environment.
Okay.
They blend with their environment, more like changing their colors to suit to hide themselves in the environment to either catch prey or escape from predators. But for warning coloration, it's to scare away predators. In most cases, it's a kind of coloration that makes um, other organisms aware of their imposing presence.
Mm, that's all. Yeah, all right. Let me look for past questions on adaptation. Okay, I see a question here. So confidence, I wanted to answer. This is JAM 2018 past question. So I want to give you the answer to this.
Fish.
Is it for the answer? I want confidence to answer. That's for
Yes, sir.
so that's correct. It is fish. Let me look for another past question on the adaptive. Okay, no problem. Do you guys understand structural, ecological, and behavior? Should I ask? Because I'm seeing questions on structural, but I don't know if you guys can answer because you are yet to read it. So this jam 2016, I want you to do it confidence. What's the answer? The bright coloration of poisonous mushrooms serves to. Are you there? The bright coloration of poisonous mushrooms serves to attract mates. No, I told you that there are three examples of adaptive coloration: counter shading, camouflage, and bright coloration. The counter shading is them having two layers of light. One is darker, one is lighter. The camouflaging is when you are trying to blend to the environment. While the bright coloration is trying to tell the other prey that you are unconsumable. So it is just a warning method. It helps to warn predators. What did I say? It helps to warn predators. That is C. Yeah, not A. It helps to warn predators. Let me see for another question before we go to chapter 4. Okay. Yes, this question is okay. So who is that is just joining us? So confidence, do this. Basking in lizard helps what? I explained when I was explaining adaptation to you the other time. When I was talking about functional adaptation. Okay. You said P. What is P? Regulate body temperature. Very good. Yeah, you are right. So I believe the two of you understand adaptive coloration, right? So do you have any question before we move on? I want to reply. Do you all understood this concept already? Confidence. Everything under adaptive coloration, you know it. Very good. Okay, so um I would have asked you a question on structural, functional, and behavior. But then you guys were not in class, the last class. So let's move to another topic. You want me to ask? Okay. So let me ask. Let me quickly ask before we move. So this is JAM 2013. Now I ask you guys to go and download JAM past questions so that you can use it to solve questions after each classes. And it will help you to get more familiar to how Jump asked that question. So, confidence, you do the first one. Paul will do the second one. The long purposes of the butterfly. I was talking about structural adaptation. I was telling you uh, there's some organism that has a kind of mouth for feeding. So they said the long purposes of the butterfly. What's it used for? For sucking nectar. Very good. That is right. Let me look at another question. This one is a little bit tricky, but it's simple. Which adaptation, Paul, enables desert plants to conserve water?
Thin cortical.
Think water. No, this is fine. Not the think cortical. And not broad leaves. Broad leaves makes them to lose water to enable transpiration. They lost water by their broad leaves. The spine is what helps them to conserve water. Think corticals helps in diffusion. No, who's just joining us? So I'm coming on to check. Ah, Stephanie. You're just joining us. What happened? Hmm? You are very, very late. So please do what to check.
Sorry, sir, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, why are you just joining us now?
Actually, I had a class earlier.
The physics class, have you?
Sir?
Physics class, have you?
No, 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 no. Like a separate class from this tutorial.
Okay. All right, that's good. So we talked about adaptive coloration today, and we talked about theory adaptive coloration. We talked about the counter shading. We talked about the bright coloration. We talked about the camouflaging under the adaptive coloration. So we said camouflaging is when an organism tries to blend with the color of its environment. And I give you guys some examples like the chameleon, like the sticking insect. And we talked about counter shading when there is two layers of light. The upper part is dark, while the lower part is lighter. For example, fishes, they exhibit that, snakes also, and even toads they exhibit that. And the last one is bright color. Mushroom can do that when it have this bright color and tell you that, oh, I'm poisonous, so do not attack me. So those are the three things we actually take. We should also check adaptation for mating also. How some Agama lizard, the male one, they have this bright red color in their head for mating. And how um, some animals, like the fowls, the hen, they will dance, they will first spread the feathers, they will spread it so wide, and they will dance around their mating partner before they mate and all. So that is adaptation for mating. So and I give them some past questions to check. So that is where you met us. So just we are trying to conclude on the last week notes so that we can proceed to the last class notes so that we can proceed to the other um, the chapter 4. So there's a question here, confidence, over to you. Which case in termites is responsible for production? I was explaining um behavior adaptation for you when responsibility are built. confidence. See, that's the point. What is the work of the workers? What's the work of the workers? Well, what is the work of the workers? And what is the work of the soldiers?
I think the workers get food for um the colony, and then the soldiers defend the um colony. I
Yeah,
don't know
very
if
good.
you
Yeah. The soldiers they ensure protection and security of the colony, while the workers they are the one working to get food and to get resources for other organisms. So what should be this one, this past question? Which of the following is a behavioral adaptation?
migration of birds,
Location of pets behavior. Yes. Sharp claws in cats. What type of adaptation is that?
structural,
Very good. Camouflage in stick insects. What type of adaptation is that?
it's adaptive coloration,
The adaptive coloration, but what types of adaptation? Is it structural behavior or functional?
is
Is it something you can see?
structural.
Exactly. If it's something you can see, that means it's structural. What about it for in numbers?
Tick for is structural.
Structural. Very good. So you can see all these things are simple. Confidence, I hope you understand very well. And Stefan, hope you too understand. So confidence answer this term 2015 question. This will be the last question for this class so that we can quickly move to chapter 4. So confidence, let me see. C. Very good. Question of features that enhance survival. Yes. So I think you guys understand everything of that adaptation. So this is just what I wanted to go for here. After the class, you can actually go more online to search some questions on another adaptation so that you can get more familiar to it. Start thinking. Please, I want you guys to be more committed to your learning. This is not the time for you to rest. This is not the time for you to play. This is the time for serious work and make sure you are giving the best because at the end of the day, hmm, your input will determine your output. So just do what is necessary. May God help you. All right. So let's go to another topic. Internal structures of plants and mammals. Internal structures. That's in chapter 4 that JAMB wants you to know in your biology for this year. So I'm following your JAMB syllabus. So that is chapter 4. This is the first topic. We've considered 3 topics already. Please, for the sake of people that are not in the first or any of the classes, please go back to your dashboard and check it. Go back to your dashboard and check it. So internal structures of flowering plants and mammals. I want you to write that down. I believe you all know what a flowering plant is. You know, a flowering plant is made up of roots, stem, and leaves. And each part they are made up, they specially adapt themselves for a particular function. There are works that the root does. They have the root hair cells. That what they do is that they help the plant to absorb nutrients from the soil and make it available for the stems and the leaves to use. So what we are basically talking about in the internal structure, let's start with the internal structure of flowering plants. So we're talking about these three major things first, because they'll be asking you questions. Let's talk about the internal structures of flowering plants. So I want you to write down a flowering plant is made up of fruits, flowering plants flowering plants is made up of roots, stems, and leaves. So you can write that down. It's made up of roots, stem, and leaves. So let's take it one after the other. Let's take the roots. The root, in case they ask you that the root is an internal structure, and they can ask you the function of the root. They can ask you to label maybe the transverse section of the root. So these are the things Jambo always asks. And that is the thing I will be listening to you. So the root, let's talk about the functions of the root first, before we talk about the anatomy. Please, I want you to write this down. You cannot escape question on the structures, internal structure of flowering plants. Like I said, the first thing under roots is that they help to absorb water and mineral salts. Absorption of water and mineral salts. That again. Another function is that in some plants, not every plant, they help to stop. But it's not every plant that they would stop. But in some plants, they do the work of storage. So you can do storage. Not in every plant, so please, maybe I should put in brackets. In some plants. So they do the work of storage, and they help in conducting absorbed materials. It helps in conduction of absorbed materials. And let me give another one. Okay, let's talk about anchorage. 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 This kindly puts that for instance. We said they help in absorbing water and mineral salts. They helps in storing some substances. They can store mineral ions, but not in every plant. In some plants, they help. They does the work of storage, and they helps in conducting absorb materials. And they do the word of anchorage. Anchorage simply means to give this firm, um, it helps it to penetrate deeper into the soil. So it's maintain the plant structure. It helps to be deeply rooted, provide this stability against environmental forces like wind. So that is anchorage. So I believe you understand the four things. Just read it. Absorption of water and mineral salts, storage in some plants, conduction of absorbed materials for deep penetration or specialized supporting the roots, uh, or providing stability. All these things they are under anchorage. This is that taking. We all get the functions now. So let me give you the transverse section of the roots. These parts, they will draw a root for you and they will ask you to label some. They will ask you to label some parts. I will teach you how to label it now. This is the transverse section of the root. Let me try and look for some diagrams. Is it that they ask you question on functions, or they ask you questions on labeling? Can you see this? Please, can you draw this down or screenshot it on your phone and check it later? Look at it. The first structure, the first component in your roots diagram is your epidermis. What did I say? Please, are you guys with me? I believe you can all hear me, right? Okay. Confidence, what about you? Okay. So let me go back to what I'm saying. I was trying to tell you, you have to get familiar with this diagram. This is the transverse section of a root, and you must know where they can, that vascular bondage area, they can put it as figure 1. The vascular cambium, they can put it as figure 2. They can help you to identify this labeling. So like I was saying, look at the epidermis. Where did you see it? It is the one that is at the exterior part the most, Abby, isn't it? Look at it here. So looking at it, you should know that since it is at the exterior part, it is the one that acts as the protective layer for the roots. It is a protective layer of the stem. Looking at this, so that is why it is at the exterior layer. It is acting like a cell wall. You know, cell wall helps in protection. You remember when I was teaching you cells. So these epidermis, they protect internal tissues from mechanical injury and pathogens. And they may contain stomata. This stomata is what they use for gaseous exchange. Remember stomata and lenticels, isn't it? So the most important thing for you to note there is the epidermis. They are the one that is found as the most exterior part in this. So anytime they put a label as if on the first membrane in the transverse section of the root diagram, you should know that this is talking about the epidermis. And the second one is the cortex. Cortex actually lies beneath the epidermis. Like it's like another layer after the epidermis. The all those green layer that you see, that is the cortex. So they are the one that is responsible for storing food and water. Please, are you with me? Please, I want you guys to be jotting down. That is the cortex. The third one you can see there is the pit. The pit is just like the central region, the middle of the stem. It's like the central region. So anytime they point a arrow to the central region, it is going to the pit. Let me come again. I said epidermis is like a component that is at the exterior layer. It's the one that is at the first thing you can actually meet is the epidermis. They give this protection to the stem. And the second thing I said is cortex. Cortex, if you look at it in the microscope, is a layer that is actually beneath the epidermis. So it is the layer that follows the epidermis. Please, are we together? After epidermis, we have cortex. All those green there, it is epidermis. The brown layer is the primary phloem, not the cortex, but the green one is the cortex. The addition of the phloem and the cortex is what we refer to as vascular bundles. So they contain phloem, xylem, they contain cambium. That's vascular bundles. So phloem is that brown layer. Cortex is the green layer. Are we together? Why vascular cambium is that layer that separates the external feature from the internal features. It also separates sometimes the primary xylem from the primary phloem. So the collection of Suzanne, you are just coming in. When did Suzanne even join? This girl, if I catch you, eh? When did you join the class? Yes, Suzanne. You've been here since. I didn't even know you were in the class. Which issue? What's the issue you are having? Is it the transfer section of the route? Yeah, I didn't notice. So I didn't call your name since morning. You are using juju for me. No problem. Okay, so let me explain the diagram again. So I hope you understand the functions of the root already. So under the root, the basic question they can ask you is the function, and the other one is the label. This labeling is very, very common. Very, very common. So they will draw these things for you on the system, and they will ask you to label it. Sometimes they can label these parts. Instead of them writing cortex, they can put A, can put this one B, can put C, yeah, they can put D, yeah, they can put E, yeah, and how they can ask you that the part labeled C is called what? The part labeled D is called what? They can even say the parts labeled A, B, C are called dash respectively. So you be the one to fill in the gap. And they put option A, pit, epidermis, vascular cambium, B, vascular bundles, primary phloem, primary xylem. So they should turn it upside down for you so that you can be confused. So this is how to know it. Anytime you see the transfer section of your root, the first thing you should pay attention to is the first layer in that diagram. What did I say? You should pay attention to the first layer. The first layer is, you said, is this for a monocotyledon root or what? This is a dicotyledon stem. You can see that the vascular bundles are arranged in a ring structure. So that's a dicotyledon stem. All right. So let me just continue. That's a very intelligent question. So look at it. I said the first thing you will see, this is a transection of a dicotyledon stem, like I said, but these are the major diagrams that JAMB will ask you to label is the epidermis, is the one at the outer. Susan, do you see it? It's one that is at the outer part of the diagram. It's acting like a cell wall. Do you remember the function of cell wall? Cell wall give this protection to the cell. So the epidermis is acting like a cell wall to the root. So what it does is that it helps to give this kind of protection to the cell. That's like a protective layer for the stem and all. So the second thing I want you to pay attention to, I hope you guys understand how to get epidermis before I move to the other one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So epidermis is like the first layer. The first layer is like the skin of a human being. So it's acting like a defense system. It helps to protect every other internal issue. All these cortex, pit, vascular bundles, vascular cambium, primary xylem, primary phloem. It is being protected by the epidermis. From the word epi, epi simply means outer. Is that thinking? So the second thing I want you to pay attention to is the cortex. What did I say? The cortex. Actually, if you look at this thing in the microscope, probably when you get to your university, you will see it very well. The cortex, they are actually below the epidermis. They are beneath. They are the second layer after the epidermis. But how do you know the epidermis, the cortex from the primary phloem? Because both the primary phloem and the cortex, they are very close to the epidermis. Are you with me? Please, are you together? What did I say? The cortex and the primary phloem, they are very closer to the epidermis. But one of the things we are going to use to know, they bear different colors. And the epidermis, the cortex, they are not fused together as the phloem. Phloem, they are very compact in nature. So the second thing you should pay attention to after the epidermis is the cortex. Cortex is the second layer that follows the epidermis. What did I say? Cortex is the second layer that follows the epidermis. They contain the cells, the parenchymal cells and the collenchymal cells. And what they do is that they help to store food and water. I will still give you the notes. I'm just trying to explain how to identify these parts. Epidermis is the first layer in the transverse section of the, let me say, dicotyledonous step now. Now, the cortex is like the second layer. It is actually beneath the epidermis. How do you differentiate between cortex and phloem? Phloem are very compact in nature and they are very knitted to the vascular cambium. Like they are well attached to the vascular cambium. But cortex, they are in between the vascular cambiums and the epidermis. So it is the second layer that you see after the epidermis. Is that taken care? Are we together? That's the cortex. The second thing I ask you to pay attention to is the primary phloem. The reason why I want you to pay the attention because sometimes the trickiest question comes from you differentiating between cortex and primary phloem. Primary phloem, they are always attached to the vascular cambium. Does that mean cortex also is not attached to the vascular cambium? You can see that there are cortex also that are attached to the vascular cambium. Look at it here. Can you see? They are attached to. For cortex, they are suspended. They are not fused together. They are not in compact shape together like the primary phloem. Do you get that? This is the difference between cortex and phloem now. Please, if under be ring, it looks like a ring structure like this. That is primary phloem. They are very compact. That is phloem. But for cortex is just, they are just suspended. These are put together. So that is, and they will use different colors for it. For the cortex, sometimes it may not be brown because they may give you in black and white. That's why I don't want to use color. But if you are privileged to have it in color, you will be able to differentiate it from each other. So the pit is the one that is the central layer. The central layer in the diagram, as you can see, is the central region of the stem, and they are only composed of parenchymal cells. You know, I said that the cortex are composed of parenchymal and collenchymal cells. Please take note of these things. So they will ask you which component of the roots contains parenchymal and collenchymal cells. It is what? Cortex. Suzanne, Shogbo, me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cortex contains the parenchyma and the collenchyma cell. But the pits, confidence, Stephanie, they contains only, or let me say mostly, I think that one is, that's better. They contain mostly of parenchyma cells. And how do you know it without coming? You know, pit started with P, right? Parenchyma also started with P. Are we together? So that means P for P, Peter and Paul, Peter and parenchyma. Do you get that logic? That's how you will save it for 10 years and you will not forget. Please, do you get me?
Yes, sir.
Cortex. Cortex starts,
Yes.
cortex starts with C. Collenchyma starts with C. That's why cortex has both collenchyma and parenchyma. Do you say the logic now? In case they ask you, what component of the root has only parenchymal cells or has mostly parenchymal cells? Just say P for P, pit. If they say cortex, cortex has C and P, collenchymal and parenchymal cells. Is that taken? So that's pit. In case they ask you for the function, I'll still give you some notes. They helps to store food, especially starch. That's the function of the pit. Let me move to the next one. Look at the primary xylem. Primary xylem is the next structure that is attached. It's just like the opposite of primary phloem. So what primary phloem is doing at the other end, primary xylem is doing it at the other end. It is located on the inner side of the vascular bundle. The inner side of the vascular cambium or vascular bundle. Anyone you can see that it is the first layer in the inner side. That is the primary xylem. The last layer in the external region is the primary phloem, right? As immediately you are entering the inner, it is primary xylem. Now, what partitioned? Partition simply means what separated the primary xylem from primary phloem is the vascular cambium. Are we together? What separates the primary xylem from the primary phloem is the vascular cambium. And the addition of vascular cambium, primary xylem, primary phloem is what we call vascular bundles. You can see it from the word bundle. If you do that, you see mega bundles, MTM bundles, meta bundles. Simply means it contains different packages. Are we together? You can see the primary xylem is located on the inner side of the vascular bundle. And if they ask you for the function, I'll give you, it helps to transport water and mineral salts from the roots to the leaves. And the primary phloem, you can see it helps to transport food. They don't transport water and mineral, they only transport food like glucose, carbohydrate, transport glucose, sucrose also from the leaf to other part of the plant. And that is what phloem does. I will give you the shortcuts also to understand the function of all these things. What else have I not tell you? I think I've actually explained everything under this part. Okay, the vascular cambium. Now I said it is the cell that divides the xylem and the phloem, the primary xylem and the phloem. And the primary xylem is produced towards the inside, while the phloem is produced towards the outside. And they're responsible for the secondary growth of the root. Please and please, if they ask you question on this diagram, will you be able to answer it, my people? Suzanne, confidence. Let me see your Stephanie. Paul. Very good. Confidence. What about you? Suzanne. Very good. So that means we should move forward. Okay. So you can screenshot this. I will send you the PDF for today's class. Let me just give you a table. Do you want me to give you a very big note, or I should give you a summary for all this part and function? I've explained it in full. But let me just give you a short because let me give you a short note because of our time. So you can use this. And quickly write it down. Let's go fast, please. Oh, I can see here they give you endodermis in the parts. I don't think I explained endodermis, right? No, after epidermis, in case you see a labeling, there's also endodermis. Endodermis is just a layer that lies between the cortex and the vascular bundles here. Please, before you continue writing, let me quickly explain that. From the word endo simply means inside. So it is the innermost layer of the cortex. That is what endodermis talks about. So it is, yeah, indeed after the epidermis, we have the endodermis. There. So it is like the last layer of the cortex. Yeah. Please, do you understand it? Let me try and look for a diagram that has. So you guys should write the part and the function very, very fast. Please, once you are done writing, please signify so that we can proceed very, very fast. Who likes biology here? Oh, Stephanie. Oh, that's good. When I was writing jam, then I actually didn't like biology. That's one of the reasons I don't want to study medicine. But then I had the least. My lowest score is in biology. I had 68. My biology jam. But when I went to school, I love biology again because I don't have choice. I have to. I have to pass it. So I have to read. The reason why I don't like biology is because you just have to read. And the notes are just too much for me. I like physics, mathematics, chemistry. I like calculations. But our parents want us to be medical doctors. We are going to be medical doctors. I actually want to be an engineer. Very good. Done. So let me show you this diagram. Can you see the epidermis? Can you see the endodermis and the pericycle? So you can see here that even this diagram is not correct. I will look for another diagram. This one is not totally correct. Let me confuse you. I will look for a diagram. Let's just continue. All right. So are we all done? Susan said she's done. Confidence, are you done too? Paul should be done too. And Stephanie. Okay, very good. So let's take the last thing in the root before we move to the stem. I believe you understand this root now. You understand the function, understand the structure and the labeling. So we have some supporting tissues in the root. They can access the supporting tissues in the root. The supporting tissues in the root, they are just two: the xylem fibers and the sclerenchyma. What did I say? The supporting tissues are many. They are just two. They will ask you, said dash and dash, they are the supporting tissues in the root. If you forget it, oh boy, I will visit you. You will see me, you see a Spider-Man in your room. I'm a Spider-Man. I may descend of a Spider-Man. So the first one is xylem fibers. The second one is sclerenchyma. Let me just write it down. Supporting tissues. ST means supporting tissues, please, in the roots. What do I call the first one? Xylem fibers. And xylem fibers, they give a mechanical support. They give a mechanical support. Why? Sclerenchyma give strength. S for S. Give strength. Please, is that taking? All right. So let me ask Suzanne, be the first person to answer this question. Cortex contains some cells. Can you help us with the cells cortex contain? Figure 1, sclerenchyma. Figure 2, parenchyma. Figure 3, collenchyma. A, 1 and 2 are correct. B, 2 and 3 is correct. C, 2. D, 3 only. What is the answer? Suzanne or I should repeat the question. Do I even know how I put it again? I took it from my head. I said cortex contains some kinds of cells. I said we might figure one. Let me write it down. Cortex contains some cells. We might figure one. Let me say sclerenchyma. We might figure two. Parenchyma. We might figure three. Parenchyma. So, which one is correct? Ah, you don't know. Please, who will Bella? I explained this the other time. Yeah, Stefan, let me have you. B and C. Yeah, parenchyma and parenchyma. Very good. So 2 and 3 are the correct options. Suzanne, I told you the other time when I was explaining, have you forgotten? I was explaining peat for you the other time. I said peat contain mostly parenchyma cells. Remember now? Okay. And I said cortex contain, since it started with C, and then this P. Now, if you look at peat, it has 4-letter word. Cortex has 6-letter words. So that means cortex contain more. That's another video. Peat contain just P, parenchyma. So since context contain more, because sometimes you can think peat contain parenchyma and then parenchyma. So once you remember that, okay, peat contain parenchyma, the one that has the higher numbers of letters contain more. It contains both the parenchymas and the parenchyma cells. The sclerenchymas, they are the one that give strength to the uh to the roots. This, I believe, we are on the same page, Abby. Let's quickly do. Can we do STEM? Okay, let's do something on STEM, and let me check some past questions on what we've checked. I'll just explain STEM. So we start. We've checked roots. As you know, I said we have 3 internal structures. Can somebody name them? Internal structures in flowering plants. Please, are you guys with me? So we have stems, we have roots, we have leaves. Yeah, thank you. So we've checked roots. We want to go to stem now. I want to quickly go to the stem. So, like we did the other time, the functions of the stems. Let's quickly go to the functions first. They support, they helps to support the support for leaves and flowers, and they helps to transport water and food. Support for leaves and flowers, transport of water and food, and sometimes it can be used for storage. Support for leaves and flowers, transport of water and food, sometimes for storage. Let me show you the transfer section of the dicotyledon stem. So you will practice it ahead of the next class. Get familiar with it. Look at the dicotyledon stem. It's very, very similar to the previous one we checked, right? You can see it's very similar. This one is just in 2D or in 3D, sorry. Can you see the pits, the central, the epidermis, the first, the cortex, the second, the phloem attached, the cambium separating, the xylem, the first part after the cambium, and the vascular bundle containing the theory. Is it not the same with the previous one? Suzanne, can you identify it? Hmm? Do I need to explain this diagram? I believe we should be able to identify it similar to the previous one. The function of the stem. I said one of the functions is that they can also help to store. Sometimes they help in storing. They give support for leaves and flowers. And they help to transport. Let me just type it. Transport of water and food. Okay. So the dicotyledon stems, can you guys identify it yourself? It's very similar to monocotyledon, to the root, transfer section of root. I don't think the labeling should give you an issue, right? Should I proceed? Very good. Stephanie, Alpha, Suzanne, okay. Okay, look at this monocotyledon diagram. You can see there are some features that monocotyledon does not have. I will tell you the differences now. I want you to screenshot all these things in your phone. Screenshot them on your phone. They've added the gland tissue to it. Let me just give you the notes. Then we'll quickly check some Champers questions. Let me look at the dicotyledon and the monocotyledon. Let me try and minimize. I don't know if you can see it. You can see the vascular bundles of the dicotyledon is different from the vascular bundles of the monocotyledon. Who can tell me the difference there? Who can tell me the difference? Can you see the vascular bundles here? Have you seen it? Doesn't have a cambium. Yeah, very good. You can see they are scattered. There's no ring. We call that cambium ring. They don't have a ring that attach the vascular bundles together like the dicotyledon. You can see the monocotyledon does not have. So there's no vascular body is not there. They don't have a cambium. What about even the pit is missing here? So the pit is also, I think the pit is they substituted to the gland tissue. It simply means the pit is not very distinct in the monocotyledon stem. Suzanne, do you get the way we differentiated them? Let me quickly give you the notes. Very good. So they can ask you, you can just draw a diagram and they ask you, what is the identify? Is that a diagram for monocotyledon or dicotyledon? Please, are you done writing because of our time? You guys are submitting your note this weekend on Sunday. I want to take your notes. Many of you are not writing. So I gave you two supporting tissues in the roots. I know some of you will not write. I gave you two supporting tissues in the root the other time. And somebody remind us, I gave us what? The xylem fibers and the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma helps to give strength, right? And xylem fibers, you are writing. Here, Susanna, will catch you. The xylem fibers gives mechanical strength. So for the stem, there's an addition. So instead of them to be two, they are three. Parenchyma gives flexible support. So just add it. Do you get that? The note you took for supporting tissues in the roots, first write the two. Now add parenchyma to it, and the function is that it gives flexible support. Do you get the stuff? Or I should write it down for you. All the supporting tissues in the root, they're also in the stem. The parenchyma giving strength or rigid support. Let me just write it down for you. So you can write this time. So tomorrow, next week, so in the next class, we'll talk about the leaf. Talk about the leaf. So let's look at some past questions. Just one or two questions. Then we call it a day. Please, once you are done writing, please signify. Please, are you done? Should we quickly move to the past question and answer? Question and answer session. We'll do that in under 5 to 10 minutes. Are we together before I leave this page? Stephanie, thank you. Paul, confidence. How far now? Suzanne, you are still writing. Confidence, we are still writing. Okay. Let's wait for you guys. Are you guys done now? Okay, very good. So let me quickly make a short recap in 1 minute. I was telling you some things the other time. The tissues in the plant, their function. I said the roots, they help to absorb waters and mineral ions. The phloem, they help to manufacture food in plants. Please remember. And the xylem, they help to manufacture water and mineral ions. To transport, so why the phloem helps to transport manufacture food in plants. So I want you to remember that because I'm seeing some questions here that looks like that. So there is a JAM 2016 question. Let's start from uh, let's start for Suzanne. After Suzanne, confidence. After confidence, um, Stephanie. After Stephanie, Paul. Exactly. Suzanne, look at this question. The main function of xylem is to transport what? I always the first. You want to protest? Yeah. Answer the question, Joe. I catch you. What's the main function of xylem? All these questions are simple.
It seems to transport water and mineral salts.
Very good to transport water and mineral salts. That's good. If I ask you to clap for yourself now, you want to clap, you can probably be careful as well. Okay. Confidence over to you. Which teaches the sense for transport of the manufactured food implements? Confidence right there. The which is the for transport of manufactured food. No, manufactured food is fluid. For transport of manufactured food is fluid. Please, are we all together? For transport of manufactured minerals and water, it is xylem. Please, do you get the difference? Confidence, do you get the difference then? Okay. So when it comes to water and mineral, it is xylem. When it comes to food, it is phloem. How do you know the difference? Let me give you another joke. You know, phloem starts with P, right? And P starts with photosynthesis. You know, photosynthesis is the ability of green plants to manufacture their own food. So anytime you phloem, something about food, photosynthesis, food, P, food, xylem, water, mineral areas. Do you get it? Uh-huh. So xylem is water and mineral ions. Why phloem is in case you want to forget, maybe you are trying to contemplate, is this xylem? Is it phloem? Is this xylem? Is it phloem? You're like, okay, P for photosynthesis. Oh, that is food. Xylem is water. So Stephanie, in a traverse section of a dipole system, vascular bundles are the difference between dipoles and monocotyledons. I think I gave you a Funny. Very good. Arranged in a ring. Ah, good. So you guys are making me proud. Please make me proud on your jump exam. Please and please. Make me proud though. If you make me proud then I will do something for you. So I think who's the next person? Is that Paul? Is there anybody in the class that I have not mentioned? Please simplify. Is there anybody in the class that I have not mentioned? So Paul, what's the next? What's the answer? Which structure controls movement of substances into and out of plant cells? This question is not actually. But they list it under A controls movement of substances. They list it under chapter 4. So that's why I copied the question. I think it's also under chapter 1, under cells, plant cells and animal cells. The structure that controls movement of substances into and out of plant cells is cell membrane. Not cell wall. Cell membrane, they have this selective permeable membrane that dictates what will go in and what will leave the cell. So they control. Cell wall doesn't control. Cell wall gives protection, secure the cell. It encloses the cell. You know, every cells have cell membrane. The plant cell has cell membrane. The animal cell has cell membrane. But only the plant cell has cell wall. You get it now. So the structure that controls the movement of substances is cell membrane, not cell wall. Cell wall, they only have this lignin structure. They give this rigidity to the plant cell. Do we all get the difference? So the answer is cell membrane. So let's go back to Suzanne. I've not teach you this. It's under leaf. The palisade mesophyll. Let me skip it. I will not teach you this also. I will not teach you this. So there's only one question more here that I've taught you. Jam 2012. So maybe when we do the leaf aspect, we finish the other question under. I only have about 12 questions here. And the other questions I have not teach you. So anybody can answer this. Which tissue strengthens plant stems? One, I gave you strengthens. Very good. See. Yeah, see. That's good. So that will be the end for today's class, guys. So next week I will try and finish the third part for you, which is the leaf. So from the leaf, we can now go to the chapter 5. You can see we are proceeding little by little in biology. Please and please, if you miss any class, you can go to your dashboard and view some videos. So this class, I will convert it to PDF. I will upload it to the group so that you can check it. Is that okay? For in case you miss some things, you can correct it. All right. You guys should enjoy your day. For those that are having chemistry, let's meet on Friday morning. I believe so. So we should meet on Friday morning for our chemistry. So till then, you guys should try and enjoy yourself, enjoy your weekend. Do well to revise everything you have been taught, please and please. success go beyond your class level. It is on how you commit yourself to your reading. Okay, so you're fine. You guys enjoy your day. Okay, thank you, Suzanne. Go. Stephanie, you did not drop anything for me. It's most of my best subjects. You don't like chemistry. Confidence, what about you? You're not good
That
to
chemistry, that
Okay.
chemistry, chemistry used to give somebody headache. Oh.
What did you say?
I said chemistry used to give us headache.
It used to give you a headache.
Yes.
Oh, thank
When
you,
it is
Jerry.
biology, when it
Yeah,
is
take care.
biology, I used to get it fast.
Chemistry is better than physics, Stephanie.
Yes.
Actually,
Actually,
when,
yes.
when I was in school, then actually, I like chemistry and mathematics. They are my best subjects. But later on, there was a senior of mine that came to meet me and said, mindset, how are you? I said, I'm fine. I said, why would you like chemistry and biology? Chemistry and mathematics. And you know physics because I don't like physics then. So she challenged me that you can do it, you can do it. And that was how she motivated me. So I went to study my physics. I began to dust my textbooks and I began to read from chapter 1 to the end. And the funny thing is that when I did my JAMB, I had the highest score. In my physics exam. That's the subject I had the highest score then. So it's just about I really don't like biology also before because it's just about reading. And when I did it, I had 68 then. But when I went to school, I began to love because I don't have any choice. The subject we do the most, the course we offer the most is in biology. So I have to read biology. So I dumped mathematics. We are no more doing mathematics because I'm a medical student. So I dumped mathematics, I dumped physics. And so it's only biology and maybe a few parts of chemistry. So but biology is interesting. You can relate with it actually. So it is good. Don't worry. We all just try and read your book and make sure you understand. And if you are reading and you don't understand anything, message me on the group. I will explain. I'm always busy, but when I see that you tag me, I will definitely respond to your messages. Is that okay? So you guys will have a good day and enjoy yourself. On Sunday, we'll be having a session where you'll be talking, you can ask questions on different field about your career. The time should be 8 p.m. So you should be there. So in case you want to ask anybody question, how do I read? How do I pass? How do I enjoy what I'm reading? Just ask any question. So do well to have a good day. I love you all. Bye bye.